Studying is the most dreaded activity by students everywhere, but it's a necessity when we're working toward a professional or an academic goal. But does studying have to be so boring and time-consuming? I don't think so. That's why I've put together 7 study tips to help you become a straight A student. Hi, my name is Yanjaa Wintersoul, and I'm a memory champion, but my memory hasn't always been this good. In fact, I struggled a lot in high school, but at university I found memory techniques and study skills that helped me graduate 2 years early. And it kept me wondering, why wasn't I taught this in school? Now don't worry, because I'm here to teach you these very techniques. Number 1. Remembering more by using active recall. How many times do we read and reread entire paragraphs or maybe even entire chapters without checking in on whether we're actually remembering any of it? When you use active recall, you take a moment to pause and reflect on what you've just read to see if you actually understood it or what you can remember. You pause and you reflect, and without looking at the textbook, you see if you can rephrase it or explain it or use your own words to kind of describe what's happening on the page. Number 2, taking smarter notes. The biggest mistake I see with newer students is that they try to write down everything that is being said or read. Not everything that the lecturer is saying or everything that is written in the textbook needs to be written down. The best way to do this is to not type but actually put pen to paper. Handwritten note-taking is way more effective because you're using more parts of your brain that are activated. When you're actively doing handwritten notes, you have to do it slower than when you're typing, and just the act of doing something in a slower way forces you to filter out the information so that you can organize concepts and big ideas and details. Number 3, use your smartphone in smart ways. Now, while our phones can be tremendously helpful for finding information, it is actually best to put that phone away. Studies have shown that even having your phone turned off in the same room can be distracting. So my suggestion is, whenever possible, turn your phone completely off and put it in a different room. Number 4, find your study zone. Figure out when the best time and place is for you to effectively study. Experiment by using day-to-day experiments where you try sitting in one place or the other to try to see where you study the best. If you don't already have a study zone, choose a dedicated place where you know that you can only study. When you want to look at social media or do other distracting things, move away from your dedicated study zone. Number 5, figuring out your learning type. You might be a tactile learner, which means you learn better when you're moving around, or you get to do a hands-on experience, or you get to physically look at models of the concepts that you're learning. You might be an auditory learner, which means that you learn better when you're listening to something, or get to say it out loud, or just hear it in any way or fashion. You might be a visual learner, which means you have an easier time understanding concepts when you see them in images or pictures or graphs. Figuring out your learning type is key to learning how to learn. Number 6, having good habits in place. There are a number of good habits that can help you become a better student, like eating better, staying hydrated, and snacking on healthy brain foods such as nuts and berries, working out, or practicing mindfulness. But the number 1 best habit that will affect your grades is sleep. When you're sleep deprived, it's really hard to take in new information, and information isn't as easily stored in the long-term memory. Experiment with longer hours of sleep, but also getting good sleep, not just longer hours for the sake of longer hours. Number 7, take smart breaks. Your brain likes information in bite-sized chunks and not huge swaths of information. That's why it's important to take breaks between study sessions. When Einstein was working on a hard physics problem, he had the habit of taking a walk or playing the violin during a break, and usually found that when he came back to the problem, he was rejuvenated and his reasoning skills were better. So take smart breaks where you may be moving your body or using a different part of your brain than what you're using for studying, and you will find that your brain can process the information in the background. So you're learning even when you're not actively learning. If you like this video, I'm sure you're going to love my study skills course. In this course, we'll cover everything I've learned on my journey from being a terrible student to being able to study 2 years at the same time. You'll learn how to use your time better so you can learn more while spending less time studying, how to use acronyms and mnemonics so you can memorize faster, and how to learn vocabulary and terminology in a fun way that doesn't require rote repetition, and lots more. Click the link to learn all about it.